And I need to show you guys something, because this is gonna be like the nail in the fucking coffin. Y'all need to prepare yourselves, okay? Because this is fucking huge, dude. This is huge. This is what I think we're building up to. People have been saying RWBY is too optimistic. She hasn't gone through like the strife or the development that people are expecting of her, especially because for the most part, she's taken everything on the chin. She's remained optimistic and she's remained optimistic through and through, regardless of what's happened. And people need her to be taken down a peg or two or three even. And so I think what is going to happen, I think this is what's going to happen. I think RWBY is going to use her silver eyes on a Hound level Grim, and she's going to see her mom underneath. I don't know when, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna explain to everybody how Salem knew about Summer Rose. She mentioned to RWBY that your mom said the same thing to me and she failed. And after blasting a Grim with her own silver eyes, revealing a person underneath, I feel like if RWBY harnesses her power and does this again, the next time it's gonna be her mom that she sees, and that's gonna just fucking destroy her. Yeah, shout out again to Sombrella for this amazing edit. Like I was like, I have to showcase this. I have to feature and let people know about, because this is like what I think a lot of us are coming to the conclusion of, right? Like the fact that Summer's been gone, no one knows what happened to her. There was no body found. It's just a grave at the cliffside. And yeah, she left on a mission one day, never came back. Nobody knows what happened to her. And now that we have some evidence that silver eyes are actually a commodity to Salem, it begs the question of, did Summer get captured and utilized in this way? She had silver eyes. She went on this mission for Ozpin. It didn't pan out. And maybe Ozpin doesn't even know that this is possible. Like maybe Oz doesn't even know that silver eyes are being utilized in this way. Even Crow was like, oh, one day, you know what I mean? Like Ozpin was just as confused as the rest of us. I just remembered something. So actually, we're gonna get into it. It's the next scene, and this is crucial to the conversation we're having right now about this guy in particular. So for those who don't know, Alex Abraham is one of the composers for the RWBY soundtracks alongside, he works alongside Jeff on the soundtracks every year since they've come out. He also did work for, I believe, Red vs. Blue soundtrack. If you listen closely, there are some like vocal chanting that go on during this ending scene here as the Hound is dying off and all that. And it is translatable, and it has been translated by Alex himself. It kind of gives you an idea of like what you can infer happened to this guy, or you can basically, instead of getting into like a whole backstory, we can just understand like how this guy got into this situation and just go from there. This was a conversation that Alex had with Milo Zimmerman Bent on Twitter. That's just a raw translation. So I guess the interpretation of that is basically implying that this guy was captured, kidnapped by Salem, was turned into this grim hybrid experiment, and went out and did her bidding. Now, in its final moments, the veil's pulled back. You actually see him as he's going down the stairs. I guess for RWBY, because this is traumatic, but at the end of the day, don't be sad for this guy because you ended up saving him from this living torture that he's been going through for however long that he's been the Hound. I think that's the best we're ever going to get from it. Also, he's a faunus too, so I can only imagine the life that this guy had to live. And again, I think it just goes to show how ruthless and how like heartless Salem is. So, oh my God, I just remembered something. Yo. Okay, so I remember making a tweet. I think it was after Volume 6, because it was after Jin was revealed, right? I made a tweet saying, what if somebody asked the question, how did Summer Rose die? And then Jin's response was, I can't tell you events that have yet to happen. I'm gonna find that tweet because I've been low-key saying that Summer isn't dead.
Like, Ironwood's like, oh, so what are we gonna do about this? He's like, I guess it's time we find our guardian. I'm one of two minds with this, and bear with me here. Please bear with me. He's either talking about RWBY or about Summer. Now, I say bear with me on the Summer aspect because, as we know, she's dead. She has a gravesite. According to sources, Monty has already confirmed that she is dead. But I'm not sold on it. I'm really not sold on it. After watching anime, after watching Naruto and knowing that, I'm not convinced anyone is dead until I see a body. That's kind of like what life has taught me. You know what I mean? And I can understand, like, if Monty's like, yeah, she's dead, to lure people into a false sense of security. Because if he was like, yeah, Summer's still alive, then people are just gonna be waiting until they see her. And then if she is dead, then, I mean, why would you spoil? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm one of two minds with it because I can understand why he would say, yeah, she is dead, so people can just be like, okay, lay it to rest. And then behind the scenes, like, as they're working, they'll be like, oh, we're gonna surprise everyone. I told them that she was dead when she really wasn't. Maybe she's doing whatever. I don't know. But the reason why I find it strange is because he said, find our guardian. From what Yang mentioned in Volume 2, she said that one day Summer left for a mission and never came back. A few things come to mind. 1, she actually did die. 2, she's still on that mission somehow. Or 3, she's missing. She's just missing. And that's why he said we need to find our guardian, as in we have to find Summer. Or he's referring to RWBY. And I get a kind of Harry Potter Hogwarts type of vibe, like the relationship between Harry and Dumbledore, in the sense that Dumbledore would bend the rules and Dumbledore would confide a lot in Harry and let him meddle in affairs because it ended up helping for the greater good. Similar to how Ozpin did that for Team RWBY to go to the Southeast in Volume 2. He was like, I'll just bend the rules because I already know you're going to break them otherwise. And that's kind of the relationship that I have. So that's why I feel like maybe he's speaking in terms of we have to find someone who fits the criteria of being a guardian. And when he said that, it showed RWBY on the cliffside at her mother's grave. So I'm like, that could refer to either the gravesite of Summer or talking about RWBY, who's there.
If she's actually a Hound, that would make so much fucking sense. I'm gonna find that tweet tonight, actually. Actually, you know what? Here it is! I found it! Yep, it was 2018. How did my mother, Summer Rose, die? Jin, I cannot tell you of events that have yet to happen. Fucking crazy if this shit actually comes true. I called it here first, ladies and gentlemen. You saw it here first. I fucking knew that she was never dead. I don't want to see anybody else saying otherwise, okay? Goddamn, November 26th, literally like 2 days after, like the day after Thanksgiving. 2 years ago, I called this shit, dude. 2 years ago. If this happens, I swear to fucking God, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I'm actually a prophet if I called that. I called Talking Grim. I'm gonna call Summer Rose was never dead. I'm gonna call that Summer Rose is the last question for the relic. And then I'm gonna put in an application to join the RWBY. Volume 10 writer, Arnold Delgado, aka MurderofBirds. I just remember that because I'm like, okay, we're talking about Summer. She's the last. She would be the last question, and then we were talking about the Hound and how she might actually technically be alive in one of the Hounds. Like, as a Hound or as, like, a Hound-esque Grimm herself. That's, like, very possible now that could happen. Just because of the fact that, like, she had silver eyes, she's had a run-in with Salem, and her recent experiment lends a lot of credibility to the fact that she could be walking the planet, she could be walking the world right now as that Grimm. Especially if that Grimm can retain the longevity of the life cycle. Right, and if Summer lived out her life, she wouldn't be dead right now. She'd be a lot older. Like, she'd be as old as time, most likely. So, as long as the Hound Grimm can keep her alive and keep her functioning, she could technically still be alive, but under some type of duress. Damn, bro. That's such a freaking validating feeling, dude, to just be like, holy shit, this freaking comment that I made 3 years ago actually has relevance and could potentially be where the show is heading moving forward. That's such a freaking That's such a flex, dude. That's such a vibe. I'm so happy about that if that's true. But yeah, long story short, if that shit happens, I called it. I was one of the first to call it. I will take no criticism, and you're welcome, all right?